What we watched last night with War Games, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it wasn't the worst pay per view that I've watched. Not even close, and nothing like that. But let's be real, it was very mediocre, very predictable. Other than what we're looking at right here, which something told me that it would be a little too predictable if we had Cody, Reigns, the Usos, and CM Punk winning. But let me tell you something, man. Like this match in general was such and like it was underwhelming to say the least. I mean, these guys spent like even my boy Nate last night. These guys spent like half the match on the mat, like just everybody just laid out, damn near half the match. So that's one of the problems that I had with this match, let alone the pay per view as a whole. Because this was supposed to be Survivor Series. We got to stop with War Games. This is not warrant War Games whatsoever. There wasn't some big conclusion that we had happen last night. There wasn't this huge behind storyline that concluded last night with Survivor Series. Nothing like that. No. What we got was just pretty much a glorified house show for one of the what used to be big four pay-per-views, if not five if you want to include Money in the Bank. But yet, here we are on Sunday talking about a Saturday night pay-per-view being underwhelming in 2025. Color me shocked. But let's go ahead and get into this, man. Make sure you guys hit that like, that subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's just take a look at and who by the way I think is Austin Theory. A lot of people online, most people online are thinking Austin Theory as well. The reason why I think it's Austin Theory is because, first of all, the guy's his physique is a little too bulky for it to be Seth Rollins and for Rollins to come back this soon. That's one. But two is because, remember, they mentioned Austin Theory being a part of this group originally through the quote unquote dirt sheets. So, and again, as you already know, to take them with a grain of salt. Don't get me wrong, but even they get things right every once in a while. But obviously, they weren't right about this one because we got the team, and it ended up being Brock Lesnar and Logan Paul instead of Austin Theory, taking up one of those spots. All right, because of what we just saw, we know. Let's take it back a little bit. They jumped Seth Rollins out, by the way. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker jumped Seth Rollins out of their group. And now we just have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. If this were to be Seth Rollins, which is not, but if this were to be Seth Rollins, let me ask you guys, those of you who would think that it is, or have this theory, no pun intended, that it is Seth Rollins. Why would he help these guys out in a War Games match? Because I talked to a couple people that actually think, oh, that Seth Rollins, first of all, why would Seth Rollins cover his face? Why would he be in a hoodie? Why would he do if it was Seth Rollins, after he would have hit the curb stomp, before he would have ran up the cage or whatever, he would have unveiled himself. They would have had him do that. That's terrible fucking writing. That's terrible storytelling. If you are going to do that and have it be Seth Rollins, which is why I don't think it's going to be Seth Rollins. I don't think it's Seth Rollins one bit. Because there's way better ways for him to come back, to have a return, to have a big pop. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, whoever did this, which I think, again, Austin Theory, got a pretty good reaction out of it. But what I don't think is that it's not going to be some like huge pop for Austin Theory unless he has a role like this where it continues and it builds and builds and builds. Because if they reveal him now, if they reveal Austin Theory now, you're going to blow your wad. But if you wait a couple months, maybe drag this out until Royal Rumble, have him continue to help out Braun Breaker, help out Bronson Reed any way he can with Heyman. And then we get to Royal Rumble. Now we're talking. because that's pretty much what, a good 2 months, unless we're almost like at the beginning of January. I got to look at it now because they be bumblefucking these dates up for these big 4 pay-per-views too, man. WrestleMania used to be in April. Now it's in March, or at least it was in March this past year. You had Royal Rumble, SummerSlam used to be at the end of August. Now they put it at the beginning of August. Ah, man, they got so many problems going on. And speaking of the problems, and coming back to this match. So Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, who I still think is very underutilized, even though he's continuously been in main events. But I always keep thinking that Drew McIntyre gets a short end of the stick. But it was them. Who was the other? Yeah, Bronson Reed, Breaker, Drew McIntyre, Lesnar, and Logan Paul. That's right. Those 5. So they won. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think they were gonna win until this happened. Until Austin Theory came in and did that whole thing, and then dipped. But that happens. Let's go to the other team though, and this is where I have a huge problem. Which after watching this last night, I didn't have as big of a problem as I did today when I found out a little bit more news. So last night at the end of this match, you had Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk have this stare down, right? And it was mainly Reigns and Rhodes. We know the history between it. We don't have to go through all that, whatever. WrestleMania, Cody loses. Then they go round 2. The next WrestleMania, Cody wins. I told someone today, and I'm not even going to get there yet, but last night, I'll just go to my emotions to last night. Last night, I said, look, I want to see Roman Reigns versus CM Punk in a one-on-one match more than I want to see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns one-on-one again. But if we are going to get that, it's going to be Roman Reigns, Rhodes 3. I like the promotion. I liked it. Put it on a poster. Give us a little classic poster like they did for the Survivor Series joint. Survivor Series was not that good of a pay-per-view. But market it that way. But here's the only thing. And then and let me just get to what I said today to somebody I was talking to earlier. And I told him, I said, give me Roman Reigns and Cody 3 at Royal Rumble. That's the next big pay-per-view. It's not going to take up a WrestleMania spot because we won't have to see them face again at WrestleMania. I said, I am completely fine with Roman Reigns challenging Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble. And we finally get the rubber match. We get it done, over with. They never have to see each other ever again or face each other one-on-one ever again. They stay out of each other's career path. But lo and behold, I hop on Twitter, and what is everybody reporting? What are all these dirt sheets reporting? Now, again, we have to take that shit with great salt, as we have learned continuously throughout 2025. But it is definitely not out of the realm of possibility of Triple H and his lazy ass booking to give us Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania again. And this time for the WWE Championship again. To say that I hope that this doesn't happen, to say that I hope that this isn't the case, to say that I really hope that this match happens before WrestleMania and we can get these two in different storylines at WrestleMania is an understatement. It is an understatement. The current plan is for Cody Rhodes to defend the undisputed championship against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42. Great. Great. Oh, wait. Wasn't 42? Oh, no. 41 was, this past year. Okay, never mind. I was about to say, wait a minute. Isn't 43 this supposed to be this? Okay, but whatever. Doesn't matter. We know what they're talking about. WrestleMania. So you mean to tell me that instead of giving us Roman Reigns versus The Rock for WrestleMania, because what I was thinking even last night, I was like, what would be cool? Instead of having that whole Austin Theory, that whole thing happen at the end of the match. Instead of having that spot happen, how about whoever the last participant? Let's say you could have traded out Jimmy Uso, or hell, even Jay Uso, and right when their music is supposed to play, when that countdown, when the clock gets down to 0, they're supposed to come out for the War Games match. We got The Rock, right? But instead of just getting The Rock and like his music playing, you get the camera, as they always do. You get the camera of them going backstage. They're like, "Oh man, Jay or Jimmy, Uso. Oh man, what happened? Go out there right now. We need somebody to go out there. We need somebody, to take a spot in the match." And then all of a sudden, now you can either hear the music of The Rock, or what I think would be even better is when you see the cameras pan to his face, and he just looks up. He has the glasses on, got his little vest on, and he just smiles, and then it pans away, and then you hear his music, and he comes out, and then that's how you get The Rock. That is literally WWE, at least back in the day, WWE 101. That is easy as shit to do. They couldn't even do that. And I know that's probably a big ask, with The Rock being available and not being available, blah, 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 whatever. But it seems so weird to me that we have not seen The Rock since Elimination Chamber. It's not like I'm saying, oh, yeah, we haven't seen The Rock since WrestleMania. No. Oh, we haven't seen The Rock since Royal Rumble. No. We haven't seen The Rock since Elimination fucking Chamber. A nothing pay-per-view. So, if you're going to ask me, am I excited to see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for a third time at WrestleMania? Abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm not. Not even in the slightest. When we could have gotten it. And again, I was one of the people that kind of complained when we got teased The Rock versus Roman instead of The Rock versus Cody the first time. Very, 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 very disappointed when they tried to go with that angle, because Cody Rhodes had already won the Royal Rumble. We had already gotten a Royal Rumble winner. We had already established that Cody Rhodes is facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I'm telling you right now, fam, it's not going to be as good as what they're trying to make it sound like. It's another, we don't know what to do for WrestleMania, so let's just do Cody versus Roman for a third time. Because that somehow is going to work. We already fucked the fans over in terms of WrestleMania anyways, in terms of switching cities. Now, in December, we're going to say, oh yeah, by the way, that match that we teased last night, yeah, we're planning to do that for WrestleMania. It's not going to go over well, man. It's not going to go over well. I don't imagine anyone legit being excited for this, except for the weirdo streamers that do fake reactions for views. That's about it. Nobody really genuinely wants to see this again, especially at WrestleMania, which is what I have the biggest problem with. You guys have devalued, which it actually makes sense because they actually devalued WrestleMania. I forgot about that. I did an entire video about that. The CEO of TKO himself, we heard it straight from the whore's mouth. This dude literally stood there and said, pretty much, we're going to try and erase everything from what Vince McMahon made from this company, especially the pay-per-views. These pay-per-views pretty much don't mean shit. That's literally what he said. So, of course, this is very on par with what TKO, not WWE, but what TKO has in plans. It has in place in terms of plans for WrestleMania, in terms of plans for the future of the company in general. And that's if Saudi don't buy their ass in about 5 years, or I should say within the next 5 years. Because this happened a lot faster than what we think, especially with that whole 2030 deal thing that's going on with the global powers that should not be. So, very on par. Very on par for another lazy booking from Triple H, whether it's on TKO's part trying to push this whole shit, or whether it's just Triple H being lazy as fuck and just going whatever they say. Like, hey, you know what? Uh, I've done shitty so far this year in terms of booking these matches. Might as well just continue it on into 2026 for WrestleMania, the biggest show, supposed to be the biggest show of the year.